Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball FX2. Today we are playing Biolab. Now I have been looking and I am certainly trying to figure out the order in which to do all these. Obviously I'm going to do the core pack first, which is, so far we've done Pasha and Merlin, and then today we're doing the Biolab and then Secrets of the Deep. But then I really don't know if I should do the things that Zen Pinball here made up for themselves, or should I start doing maybe a Marvel, then a Star Wars, then back to Marvel, then Star Wars, since we have so many of those, or maybe I should do all the Star Wars in a row. There's a lot of different ways this could go, but definitely the right way to start is with the first 4 things that were added to the game and came with it. Looking at their licenses, it's a mess, really. The best version of this game would probably be the 360 if you wanted to get the most number of tables, because several tables are not on Steam, but then you're playing the 360 version that looks a little worse and doesn't play quite as well. So we have 2 achievements here. Master First Million with the Mad Professor watching on the Biolab, and what is the other achievement? I can't even see. How do you switch with the other controller? Break quarantine after completing all the missions and escape the Biolab. So that seems like that's an incredibly difficult achievement to do. That sounds like doing every single thing you can in the game. So Biolab looks cartoony, has some monsters running around, looks like a more classical pinball too. It looks like you're going to launch into the bumpers. There's a dome with a skill shot, it seems, a dropper. No, you don't launch to the back, you launch to the side here. Interesting. Then you have your classical attractive lady and mad scientist and a bunch of monsters. This looks cutesy and fun. Looks like there's some ramps and a twister jackpot. What is that? And then there's this magical character that will change when you hit the spinner below it. And then I don't know what the microscope does, if it does anything. That might be the multi-ball. Score multipliers right there.
It's time to awaken, my children!
So let's start by checking what view we want. And I think I just want 4 always, and it seems ridiculous I can't set that as the default. And pull back and release, and it sends you in here. And I guess you're trying to get that jackpot in the middle. Alright. Like, so...
New leg structure invented.
So, the monster in that tube changing is something that you wouldn't...
New body structure invented.
Easily be done.
Hurry up!
And now, for the genetic sequencing.
What you could do is you could have a hologram there, or a picture that spun around to swap, but to have it actually moving like it is here is something that could only be done in video games. There's a 3-eyed monster, you have to hit all 3 of its eyes.
Chamber pressure is perfect. Nurse, ready the clones.
So my high score and super score is going up.
This room is off limits to all but me.
And see, you could bump yourself, maybe get in the middle there if you tried. So yeah, the classic tables from Pinball FX1 on Steam. They came out with a different game called Zen Pinball that has some tables that are on Steam, but may still be missing one or two. There's several other exclusive licensed ones. Hey, I just got an achievement.
Aww, it's so cute.
I guess I matched all 3 of those.
They'll show a hunger for learning.
Help your creature. Am I doing anything? So land a skill shot. Nope. So this is the first time I've ever actually gotten an achievement, and that's kind of nothing to Steam because
A disaster! I have to start all over!
like in Steam it doesn't mean anything because unless you get 100% of all the achievements available for a game, which means I would have had to purchase all the DLC, which they're always adding tables, so I would always be buying more DLC. Plus, a lot of the achievement quests are really, really difficult. Expert level play would be required, and many, many hours of it.
New leg structure invented.
Now, a big focus seems to be about hitting the spinning selector there, changing the colors and the types of body
New
parts.
body structure invented.
And see, there was a match again. I got really lucky. Use the flippers to select something.
Its brain signals show a hunger for learning.
So, skill shot. Still missed it. Still didn't get it. While this table's really nice looking, it actually isn't very much here.
New leg structure
Like, the central playfield is pretty empty again, and there's 2 ramps, like there's 2 ramps on the left, but a lot of just toys and stuff. So play.
entering the microcosm.
And so now we're in this press launch to skip guide. Location of the stolen keys. Still the mini playfield to left or right with the flipper buttons. The launch button skips the task.
Infernal creature, put that cookie back this instant!
Oh, so I was trying to get it to run on top of all the cookies there by that spinner. And see, there's no way that could have happened in the real world unless there was a wheel on the backboard, and you never get to see the backboards of these pinball
New body structure
things.
invented.
Like, because they didn't bother to make any. So, backboard art is a kind of a big deal. Brains upgrade. Let's try reflex upgrade this time. We've done wisdom
Its
twice.
spinal cord now reacts to stimulation.
But there's major focus right here on this top left section of the field, and kind of a lack of interest completely of the rest of the field. And I'm not a fan of pinball games that are like this, where there's this upper play field that you're really supposed to spend most of your time in, and the bottom play field is just a barren, like, consolation prize that you get to try and work your way back up there.
A cookie! You've earned it!
What happened? A disaster! I have to start all over!
got some kind of bonus and it did something. But the droppers over here on the right, very little to do over here. The droppers and things on the far middle left,
New leg structure.
doesn't seem like there's much to hit over there either.
New body structure.
Unlike your standard pinball, instead of
You earned it.
trying to hit straight up, you are going slightly to the left. So that favors the right flipper to do a lot of your work for you. So you definitely want to get good at making those shots.
Hurry up.
Imbecile! Don't lose that!
Lost the ball.
A
So-
new creature is born.
What I'm also noticing here is getting up to a high score doesn't seem very difficult. I'm already at 8 million and I seriously doubt I've done anything to deserve that. Each one of these is just a... Every time you hit that 3 times, you launch a new mission. And I guess if you did all the missions successfully, then you might get the achievement to escape the lab. There's a lot of things here that are putting breaks in the game too. Just pausing as I'm making decisions. And I'm not really recognizing that that's what it wants me to do.
This setback is only temporary. The world shall be mine!
A new creature is born.
And see, you're in this weird position because you feel like you're doing really badly. At least I do. That I'm just
New leg
playing a
structure.
standard like warm-up game here, and yet I have 9 million points. What in the world did I do to deserve all that score? It doesn't feel like I have been doing anything. I certainly haven't intentionally been playing the game well. I don't even yet
New
know
body
what to do to play it well.
A cookie. You earned it.
And now, for the genetics.
Oops. Seems like you really do have to match the colors just to do it right.
Hurry up.
Multiplier formula.
This room is off limits to all but me!
And see, I don't think I've ever been up that top right. Well, the ramp on the right there. That might be a multiplier. And let's see. Let's try wisdom again, I guess. Might just land a skill shot. Darn it. And I still haven't figured out the
You earned it.
right amount of force to put in the skill shot. Once I figure it out, I'll have a decent chance of always getting
A
it.
disaster! I have to start all over!
But so that tube on the right and that ramp on the right is the multiplier. You have to lock it with the valve somehow. I don't know what you do to do that. But when you lock that valve, then you lock 3 balls in that tube. And then you have multiplier. Which is
This setback is
kind
only
of a
temporary. The world
uninteresting
shall
way
be
to set up a
mine!
multi-ball. But it is a really tough ramp
Amazing.
too. So on the first try, 10 million. Like 10 million, which adding to my other 2 tables now gives me 31 million, a super score of 31. my super score multiplied by the number of tables I played by 3 gives me a wizard score of 93, and you see how the numbers just get crazy. So single all-time player, let's see. I was hoping the leaderboards might show the other characters, but whatever. We'll just continue playing. I wanted to see if I was number 1 on the local scoreboard of the pinball, and I just am not certain about that. Let's see. You see, it looks like 3 circles is too many, so I need to probably find something around 1.5 circles.
Splendid. Chamber pressure is on the rise.
So if I could hit this ramp right there that I just missed,
New leg
then that would lock the first ball. But it's almost a crazy combination you have to do. You have to go like left and right really fast.
New body
And that's
structure.
never how I really want to play pinball. Just have to
And now,
play
genetics.
very precise and very quickly.
New head
Because
structure.
that adds some
invented.
kind of randomness to it. And see, matching the colors seems to not actually
Its
do
muscles are
anything.
starting to react.
Launch to skip guide. Come on. So we're trying to hit things to get its muscles up. Hit the drop-down targets, the bumper targets. The difference between a bumper target and a drop-down target is whether or not it actually drops down when you hit it.
What happened?
Ever.
A disaster. I have to start all over.
So there was a certain number of bumpers I needed to hit, and I didn't accomplish it. Like I don't accomplish most
New leg
missions.
structure
And,
invented.
while I
Hurry
usually
up.
call myself a slightly better than average video game player, I think it would be more
Chamber pressure
accurate
is
to
perfect.
call myself
Nurse,
a
ready the
less
clones.
than average pinball
The
player,
setback is only
or
temporary.
maybe just
The
average
world shall be
pinball player.
mine.
Average is probably more
It's
accurate.
time to awaken my children.
Because I really don't have a lot of skill in it, and then there is also probably a lot of people that play real pinball that would have no skill on digital pinball, so it's kind of hard to tell. And again, then the vast majority of people don't play pinball except for very casually on very
New
rare
body
occasions.
structure invented.
So
And now,
it's kind of hard to tell when I'm good or bad, but I certainly know I'm not great. If I was great, I'd get multi-balls every single time. And
Its spinal cord now reacts to stimulation.
just play the game a lot better. We haven't gotten to the binoculars, I mean the microscope again. So that seems like a kind of difficult thing to get into. See, whenever you're playing multiplayer, all you can really do is just focus on,
I have to start all over.
like, just focus on keeping the ball in play.
You've earned it. New leg structure.
I don't think you can do anything else. So there I locked one ball. 2 more to go.
Imbecile! Don't lose that!
And the revive means
A new
you'll
creature
get your
is
ball
born.
back, and freeze means you'll get an extra ball because you can do both. Finally
Skill
did the
shot.
skill shot, and it ejected it in a different place. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
It's breathing again.
You don't get any points if you
New body structure.
are just getting the ball returned to you.
And now for the genetic sequencing.
We can do any of these we want. Doesn't really matter one bit.
Green signals show a hunger for learning.
So, what did I do to get a skill shot? Not that, definitely. I guess I probably overestimated my skills there, that I'd be able to remember what action actually got the skill shot. That looks good. Looks like the second bar is about it. And every time I'm getting a skill shot, but see, notice that second bar didn't work that time. Darn it. And see, I guess if I hit any place where it can catch the ball, it will give me another skill shot opportunity.
What happened? A disaster. I have to start all over.
And see, I did pretty well there, and it still wasn't good enough.
Imbecile! Don't lose that!
I'd like to get the multiplayer, but the score is so high. Oh,
Awesome!
and there it released the ball I locked. Let's try again. But see, that's just the thing about pinball games. So sometimes there's always this cold war to have higher and higher scores, like it really matters. But so 10 million in this game may be the equivalent of 1 million in another. Some of the really old games would go up 5 points, maybe even a few went up even 1 point in some increments. And now things go up 1,000 points for doing a single action. A very easy single action. And you can see the scores are just appearing on the field.
Hurry up!
Imbecile!
I don't recall seeing that happen in Pasha
It's
Run.
time to awaken my
So
children!
They were definitely experimenting here with, like, what is the right way to make a digital version of a pinball game if said pinball game doesn't exist and we can do whatever we want. Do we go crazy with it? Do we add things that cannot be possibly done in the real world? Or do we try to be authentic? And eventually they fell down the path that they wanted to go crazy with it, and they wanted to get licenses from things like Marvel and Star Wars
Neurotic pattern is
and a few other things too. And that worked pretty well with them because they carved out that niche, and then let's see. And then all the let's see. I'm trying to get as many cookies as possible here. I don't know how I'm gonna get them all. I suppose I don't run out of time. Ever. But does this thing, like, does this maze work?
What happened? A disaster! I have to start all over!
See, what was the trick there? Because it seemed like I couldn't even get in that second section and hit all those cookies.
This setback is only temporary. The world
That
shall
screen
be
is just
mine.
way too green.
A new creature is born.
That's the problem with it. We need just a green like replacement there, and something easier to look at.
Hurry up! New body structure invented.
Apparently there was an option for like a quick multi-ball or something there. And it looks like there might be something under the playfield, but I don't think there is. Nope. I think I'm wrong about that. So one clone locked, or one ball locked is what it really is. Go back to this, like that.
How does it work? I can't remember.
And I can just not get that shot. I'm trying every time to get the shot, and it's not locking.
Imbecile! Don't lose that!
And I lose again. So looking at my clock and trying to see how long I've been playing. There we go. 30 minutes. Well, I beat that 10 million high score.
A new creature is born.
Maybe, but maybe not. This was the danger I was talking about in the last recording with the Rome play tables.
Mutation started.
Any of these, you might get a really, really good game and get 10, 20 million, 50,
New
60
leg
million
structure invented.
in a playthrough. Particularly if you can get that multi-ball and
Splendid.
get several super jackpots, which are going to give you so much more score than anything else you can do. So you might spend 20 minutes playing a game getting scores of 5,000, 10,000, where 30 seconds of getting a few super jackpots would get you millions and millions.
Hurry
it's
up.
just a more
New
efficient
head structure invented.
way to spend your time, particularly since pinball kind of is working against you, because eventually some random thing is going to happen, and that random thing is going to cause you to lose ball. Nobody can play forever, or people will get tired and make a mistake. I certainly know that there have been some times where I've gotten like jackpots that have been going on forever, and it's just like my eyes can't focus anymore, and I can't take a break because we're in the middle of a multi-ball. This doctor loves to restart his work and give up pretty easily.
It's time to awaken my children.
New leg structure invented.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot here, is there? It's just that spinner. Sometimes they do this when they make pinball games. I would say it's bad pinball design, but sometimes they'll just go so infatuated with the new toy, the new thing that they added, the main feature of the game, that the rest of the pinball table is mostly empty, because they just want to focus on that one thing, or that one thing costs so much to put into the game, or costs so much in research and development they couldn't afford anything else. They came out with a half-digital, like hologram pinball table in the real world.
Don't lose that!
I think it was like Aliens Attack or something originally, but the idea was that you could change it every few months, and just it would look slightly different and people wouldn't realize that it's the same game. because
New
if you
body
shot
structure.
the ball up the table, anywhere it hit in the top of the table would get hidden in darkness, and it would get replaced with holograms
signals show a
or
hunger
move
for
you
learning.
to a mini game on the LCD screen, which was a big. I don't even know if it was an LCD screen. Actually, it may very well have been a full monitor. Now, how many skill shots do I need to get? That's not gonna work. The skill shot doesn't move. It's always in the middle there.
What happened? A disaster! I have to start all over!
And then the timer ran out. And I'm not as a huge fan of missions having timers on them in any game, let alone pinball,
New leg structure.
where if you're not an expert player, you're going to have to take your time. Also, it's worth pointing out that moving the flippers here does not change the kickback
Hurry
light up
up.
or the bonus light up
New body structure.
at all. So you actually do have to go down every single lane,
Now, for the genetics.
which means you'd have to get very good at maneuvering the ball to go down every lane. And
Its
that's
neurotic
unlikely to
pattern is
happen.
twisted.
These original core tables, even though they had already done Pinball FX2, I don't know why I was sitting there, because I could have done that earlier, really show just a lack of understanding of what makes pinball games good. So now the last piece here is here, but I didn't hit this section, nor did I get to the middle section. And I don't think I can get to the middle section. So did I hit them all? Yes, I did.
Success!
This room is off limits to all but me!
So that got me 2 million for actually succeeding on one of those missions, which is quite amazing. Clone 1 locked. And I hope by now, if you've been watching this series, which I hope you have,
It's breathing.
you start to
Again.
see why it's important to play for at least an hour to even get a good selection,
New
a good
leg
random
structure.
selection of what you can do and what you'll see in a game of pinball. If you just play it really quickly, you're probably gonna have a bad game. You're probably not gonna be warmed up. You're probably not gonna be familiar with the
New body
table.
structure.
There is the possibility that you'll succeed beyond all wildest dreams, but not likely.
Yes! The clones
It's
are
taken
beautiful!
35 minutes to get to the clone multi-ball, and I wasn't even sure it was going to work. So we were looking to shoot orbits and targets. Orbits might mean lanes. Tried to boost the jackpot.
A cookie. You've earned it.
Orbits might be the lanes on the outer ring. Now I lost one ball, I lost 2 balls. So did I actually get a jackpot there? I didn't hear it say jackpot or anything.
Green signals show a hunger
Did I take
for
the
learning.
wisdom thing again? See, that's the skill shot one, and I just don't think I'd probably ever get that. Yeah. get really good at launching it back. And so you want to get it before it goes around in a circle, because then you'll have more control of the system, in theory.
What happened? A disaster. I have to start all over.
Another failure. And
The
does
wheel
that
is in motion.
mean
Keep the impulses coming.
that the previous mission I succeeded at would have to be redone? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
New leg structure invented.
Just sneak back in there. It looks like there's really only 4 or 5 different heads, bodies, and legs.
Its muscles are starting to react.
Yeah, and it was asking me to select again, and I'm just looking at the center of the screen, not even realizing it. Here, just skip the guide. I'm getting way too much guide here. Way too much guide. Hit things. Get those muscles up. This is hit the drop targets, not the hit the ramps. So you're changing your target here, far from what I have been aiming for, which is mostly ramps. I'd much rather move a ball in pinball somewhere than just what would be the equivalent? Just hit a drop target and potentially have it bounce back and lose. Let's see. Muscles grow. Looks like I'm about to beat my highest score. Got a little bit of a sound effect there. I don't know if that was the game or that was the interface of Pinball FX2. My super score is now higher, so we're watching that grow higher and higher. Kickback, that's an interesting kickback.
Watch out!
I think I finished that quest with another success, if I was to guess. No, I'm still in the quest. Well, what finishes it?
Success!
Just hitting it enough times, I guess. Success.
Hurry up! New leg structure invented.
That's it.
No!
Imbecile!
I just
Don't
let
lose
that fall right down in the bottom. So that was a pretty good game
Fantastic.
at 16 million. And so 16 million gets added to our other scores to give us now 37 million, which gives us a super score of 37, which gets us up to 111 wizard score. And see, every table you play, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And it's lovely. It's lovely to see these pointless numbers go up. Which, in a lot of ways, is what video games are anyways. They're all just pointless numbers always going up. And you either attribute some skill or meaning to the numbers, or you ignore them. It's up to you. Particularly in pinball, though, eventually you figure out
New
the
body
numbers
structure.
don't mean too much.
And now for the genetic sequence.
I missed that.
Hurry up! New head leg structure invented.
So just pick something and start.
Its brain signals show a hunger for learning.
I assume the trick here is that you would want you'd want to do the one that's really easy in the microscope first every time, because if you can pull that off, you'll get several million.
A disaster! I have to start all over! Imbecile! Don't lose that!
The muscle one
It's time to awaken my children!
seems like it's something you can accomplish, but maybe not. That's a prime example of why you don't want the balls near those bumpers on the edges. They will knock the ball in crazy
Mutation
directions.
started.
Mutation. Let's see if I could get more mutations. That would do something.
This room is off limits to all but me!
Maybe I'll just bring this all the way back and see what happens at the full power. No, doesn't get a skill shot.
New leg structure invented.
One more mutation needed. We'll get that. Goosebumps. And so that adds a color, and it seems like
New
maybe
body
you
structure.
could do a lot of those and just aim for that a lot. I don't know if what that's going to eventually unlock though.
This setback is only temporary.
It's a
The
tough
world
shot
shall
to
be
make
mine.
because you will drop the ball.
A new
If
creature
you're
is
not careful.
born.
See, I need a little less power than that.
Aww.
It feels like the
It's
power is a little
so
random.
Cute.
And I'm sure in pinball games, at least old pinball games, it was rather random because
Its neurotic pattern
you
is
would
twisted.
probably not have the best power supply in the thing anyways, controlling motors that are crazy. And in the old pinball games, it wasn't even controlled by motors at all. It was just springs, and I assume that too would be an issue. So I guess you're not trying to get to the one in the center. I guess. And that was a success. And why did the camera move then? It's not supposed to move.
This setback is only temporary. The world shall be mine!
Terrific.
So that wasn't better than 16 million,
It's
so we
time
play
to
again.
awaken my children!
I can't help but shake the feeling that even if you were really good at this, you probably
New
wouldn't
leg
have
structure.
too much fun with this table. It's just missing
Hurry up.
interesting things to do. There's a lot of mini games and missions
New
focus
body
here.
structure invented.
And personally, I prefer a game where you can just, even if you're a terrible player, you'll always run into something different and something interesting. There's a lot of times you get just stuck on making a decision and it stops the flow of gameplay. I mean, how many times have we been given instructions or told to do this, and it says like skip the instructions? Now you can tilt the game. I suppose that would be an interesting experiment to show off. We could say here, nudged it with the left stick a little bit too much and tilt. And that too
What happened? A disaster! I have to start all over!
possibly if you're not gonna try to make an authentic pinball game, you might as well take the tilting completely out. I mean, you can do that sometimes in pinball machines. Is just disable it in the owner's menu, or you can disable the electronics completely, and then you can just sit there and nudge the table to move the ball all you want. Which nudging is a skill I certainly never really bothered to learn. It's rarely needed, just on saves. Like if you're about to lose your nudge and you see it coming, which often you don't see it coming.
Its brain signals show a hunger for learning.
But to sit there and bounce around the pinball machine, the owners of most pinball machines are not happy about that. They don't want you to break the machine. They don't want you to make a lot of noise or encourage other people to nudge the machine because they may not have your level of skill at it. And the legs on pinball tables are typically pretty weak legs. Strong enough to hold the tables up, but if you started kicking them around on a daily basis, they would probably bend or break eventually. Shipping pinball machines and having something that large in the mail is a big nightmare. A lot of expense there. And you have to be very careful about how you pack and ship something that delicate.
New body structure.
There's really a lot of expense on maintaining and owning the pinball machine. And that's not even including the occasional person that breaks the glass.
Muscles are starting to react.
Or just other things that could go wrong with it. I once played a pinball machine and the power went out, and that really sucked because they didn't have it on any kind of battery backup. Not that I really expected that one machine and none of the other machines to be on battery backups. In fact, most arcades have circuits designed so they can just flip the circuit breaker and turn off all the machines and save yourself electricity bills. But it was kind of surprising the whole building didn't have a battery backup since it was a movie theater. So I don't know if all the movies when the power went out also stopped projecting. Possibly. I mean, if you've got a huge surround sound system going, you would need some major batteries to keep the audio playing with the video. And I don't know how much a projector uses in electricity, but it probably isn't an insignificant amount of wattage. Here we go.
You've earned it.
So we just keep on hitting these drop targets until it says we won.
Success!
There was the one. The WON one.
Chamber pressure is perfect. Nurse, ready the clones.
So, 2 of these things I can do right now, but I would have to practice a lot more to get to become an expert at this table to get the other 2 quests done. Darn it! I could get a clone ball if I'm careful here.
For the genetic sequencing.
Darn it!
This setback is only temporary. The world shall be mine!
Did I just lose?
A
3
new
million? No,
creature
I
is
still have
born.
another one to go. Now, some tables will give you a higher bonus multiplier based on which ball you're on. So, it actually might be the right move
Its brain signals signals show a
if
hunger
you're
for
a
learning.
really good player, lose the first 2 balls intentionally, get a higher bonus multiplier, and then play your entire game on that 3rd ball. Now that's a hugely throw caution to the wind style playing, but the numbers actually do add up that way. Let's see. How many times do I need to do this? And how come sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, and how come the camera doesn't figure out what I'm looking at or where the ball is half the time? Like, it messes up here in a few places, and that's pretty unacceptable. So I would call that a definite bug.
Disaster! I have to start all over! Imbecile! Don't lose that!
If the camera's not watching. Now,
A
of
new
course,
creature is born.
if you just zoomed out to the point where you can see everything on the table, then you wouldn't have to deal with that. But
New
I feel
leg
like I would
structure.
need to be closer to my monitor, maybe have
How does
VR
it work?
goggles on,
I can't
or
remember.
maybe have it set up like a cabinet. That might be a nice middle ground instead of buying your own pinball machine.
Hurry
is
up!
buy a digital
You
cabinet
earned it.
with Pinball
It's
FX
creepy. Again.
working on it, which it supports that, but it's really a middle ground.
New body structure.
I think I'd prefer to own one of
And now,
the
the
really
genetics.
one of my favorite real pinball games over owning a digital cabinet.
Its neurotic pattern is twisted.
And again, that still is very much something that you would only even think about purchasing for yourself after you've become a millionaire or something. Some big money would be spent there. And it's the same puzzle every time, it's just glowing green. And I think there's probably a timer there that changes
New leg structure in there.
how much time, how much score you get. So if you do it faster, then you get more of a score. That'd be my guess on what happens. Trying to lock these clone balls to get multi-ball, and I am missing it over and over again.
Imbecile!
And
Don't
there it
lose
goes.
that!
Lucky.
So let's play one more time. We have about 7 minutes. And so I'm just going to play for 7 minutes and then I'm going to try
Time
and
to
tilt the
awaken my
machine.
children!
And so I very well may be playing the game of my life here. And I'm just going to tilt it
New
anyways.
leg structure invented.
And we'll see, we'll try and tilt it on the second ball just to make sure it gives us a third ball, because that is
New
also
body structure invented.
something we should know is
How
in
does it
general,
work?
do these
I
tables
can't remember.
let you continue playing if you tilt it, or is it just game over
It's
completely?
creepy. Again.
So here we go, tilt, 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 tilt. Oops, oops,
Watch
oops,
out.
oops, 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 tilt. Total tilt. Top left
A
tilt.
new creature is born.
And so that's ball 3. So it did give us ball 3. Well, actually, no, it was even nicer than that. Like, it seems like it's letting the ball fall down and giving us the same ball. No, it's ball 3 now. That's strange.
New head structure invented.
I've never seen a tilt give you the same ball a second time. That seems rather generous, because there's really only one way a tilt happens, and it's if somebody, either the player or somebody else, shakes the cabinet. I've never heard of anybody falsely accused of tilting. Maybe on a broken
New
machine.
leg structure invented.
That is a
Hurry
really
up.
difficult
New
ramp
body structure invented.
up there on the right.
And now,
Too difficult for my liking. If I'm missing it like 5, 6, 7 times out of 8 attempts, that's too many. Give me something, whatever.
Spinal cord now reacts to stimulation.
And we get the quick multi-ball. Getting the quick multi-ball is pretty good. Now if you notice here when we're zoomed out, there's a little bit of stuff on the left and the right there. Just as set decoration. But then further to the edges, you see there really is absolutely nothing in the background, because I assume that's because I'm playing at 1080p, and when this was running at like 720p for Xbox 360, they didn't really think that through, or whatever resolution this is. Like, what portion of the screen that's visible is actually being taken up by the pinball table? It could be shockingly small. There is a lot of argument for us to adopt a
Mutation
portrait
started.
appearance more for computers. Cell phones are definitely portrait. Reading
New leg
books
structure
and
invented.
newspapers and things are portrait. The only thing that we have is widescreen is movies and video.
New body structure invented.
But then our eyes are also horizontal, so
and now,
the widescreen horizontal thing kind of does make more sense. Maybe we've just been making books wrong for these billions of years, but
Its brain signals show a hunger for learning.
I don't know how you make a pinball that would be wide. Gravity doesn't work that way. It would just not make a lot of sense. Yeah, I have no clue how you could turn a pinball machine 90 degrees and have a fun game when you were done. There we go. Skill shot. 2 more skill shots, it says. So it seems like you only need like 3.
imbecile! Don't lose that!
It seems like right on time I lost.
Amazing!
So our best score for Biolab was 16 million. And it certainly was a pretty good score there. Let's go back to the main menu, switch over to the mouse here, and load into the main menu, and let's just see the leaderboards so we can compare. Like 17 billion for this guy who probably cheated, and then below this we have 9 billion, and then below that we have 5 billion. And see, I wouldn't be surprised if it is probably the first 4 maybe cheated, because that's quite a big difference there. And then you start to see something that seems more realistic. Super score, again, whoever's cheating to get to the top of the leaderboards is probably going to just by default have the highest super score. So first 2 shows really high super scores, and then you start seeing 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 150,000, 100,000. These numbers are jumping even the difference between number 9 and number 8 here is so big, it makes me wonder if there's some hacking going on there, for what you can call it. And then the Pinball Wizard numbers seem to be ridiculously out of them, and I bet the Pinball Wizard numbers are the exact same for this as they are for Pasha, because anybody that has a high pinball
Biolab.
a high Pinball Wizard score is going to have gotten it by owning all of the games and playing on all of the games at least once to get the multiplier, which goes to say that this is probably the top 10 for the entire game. So here's our local high score, which is what I was trying to see. I do have the top 1 and the top 7. Of course, 1,900,000 even, 800,000 even are just placeholder scores there. You definitely should have the top 10 if you've played the game enough, but it would probably take you a little bit longer than an hour. Pinball King can't do, Challenge can't do, and tournaments still are not running, and I don't know why, but I'm recording this all at the same day, so no big surprise there. Achievements are an interesting thing though. We did awarded for the Mad Professor not misbehaving too much on the Biolab table. So we got a cozy cookie, and then breach quarantine after completing all missions and escaping the Biolab. So it seems like there's one achievement that's probably pretty easy to get. I hit all the guardians in the hidden middle player field, mini play field. Yeah, we could have gotten that one. Open the book and complete all tales. Couldn't have done that one. Complete 2 successful shots against the galleon during the mock warfare in Rome. Probably could do that. Seize control over the garrisons at least 7 times or start frenzy on Rome. Probably can't do that one. So I bet there's an easy achievement and a hard achievement, and that's just their mentality on all of that. And what does this mean? I guess this means I'm online. So that's good to know. So of the core components, so far I would still say Pasha is the most interesting one. I really wasn't a fan of Rome. Not really a fan of Biolab. It's cute and friendly and gives you a lot of points, but it's not a very good pinball table, I don't think. And so the final one we're going to do next time is Secrets of the Deep. And then I'm going to kind of have to figure out what chronologically came out and see if that's how I want to do it. And go in chronological order, or if I want to just start doing maybe Star Wars, Marvel, and then one of the other licensed things, and just to keep things spaced up, because it would be quite a long time if there's an episode every day, every Monday through Friday, and we're going through Star Wars, or Marvel. It'd be 2-3 weeks of just looking at different Marvel tables, and that's gonna get boring, I think. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.